What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. Let me know if you can hear me. Just going to give it a couple minutes for everybody to show up, and then we're going to get started with the breaking news. Lee Billy, thank you for gifting 50 memberships. That's incredible. Thank you so much, Lee. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. What's going on, moderators? Good to see you. Joe Romanino, Aldo, Vanessa, Amy, Tiffany. Good to see you. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. Samantha Gross, Ross Niderman, Michael Gale, Kim Cape, Mopar Man, what's going on? Cajun Cracker Ranch, Elizabeth Ann Wood, what's going on? Tiffany, Judith, Shannon Sissel, MDMD, Mike DT94, 2K Gamer, how's it going? Z Cali, good to see you. Melissa Wood. So we have some major breaking news coming in. How's it going, Cindy Williams, Karen, Hazel Eyes, ABS, Firefly, Gentleman Arms, what's going on, Gentleman Arms, Tartan Granny, Amanda Moss, Con Cushion, how's it going? Just going to give it a couple minutes here. Just give me like 5 minutes or so. Just waiting for everybody to show up so everyone got the notification. Sometimes it takes a little bit for the notification to go out. Stand by, guys. Stand by. I'm here. I know there's no sound. The sound is off on purpose. I'm just getting everything prepared. Just be patient. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Just wanted to give everyone a chance to join in. So we have some major breaking news. We have a Russian sub off the coast of Florida today. We also have multiple Russian warships already making their way to Cuba, and they're going to stay there for the rest of the summer at least. My guess is they're probably going to stay there indefinitely. So this is a huge escalation, and what you're looking at here is some video footage of one of these Russian warships arriving in Havana, Cuba. Okay, so this is in Havana, Cuba. One of the Russian warships has already arrived. I'm sure the other ones are not too far behind. And we do know that there is a nuclear-powered sub operated by the Russians right off the coast of Florida. So this is huge news, guys. Absolutely huge. And we had multiple B-52 Stratofortress nuclear bombers airborne earlier today, which is very unusual. We had 3 of them that I saw personally over the United States this afternoon. And then we also have several nuclear war command and control planes in the air right now, actually, still. So our nuclear forces are on high alert. And we also have some breaking news coming in just in the last hour that apparently South Korea fired warning shots at North Korea. Okay, so this is very serious, guys. Things are really escalating like crazy now. Yes, Cuba is only 90 miles away from Florida. That's right. Yep, Cuba is very, very close. So this is very, very concerning. Thank you, Rooted Sisters Bible. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that. And no problem. Thank you for all your support. I hope you're having a good Monday night. Missy Scott, thank you for gifting a membership. And Kim Cape, thanks for gifting 5 memberships. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a good Monday. Thanks to all the people who joined the memberships here. So let me just start reading off some headlines to you. Let's start with South Korea first, because this is just coming in right now. This is being reported by multiple news outlets now. Okay, so it's not just me. Okay, we have multiple credible news outlets coming out with this today. So it's just coming in the last hour or so. So this is coming from the Associated Press. South Korean soldiers fired warning shots after North Korean troops violated the land border earlier this week. South Korea's military said Tuesday amid roaring animosities between the rivals over the North's recent trash-carrying balloon launches. Wow, so some North Korean troops violated the land border of South Korea earlier this week, okay? And South Korean soldiers had to fire warning shots. Some North Korean soldiers who were engaged in unspecified work on the northern side of the border briefly crossed the military demarcation line on Sunday, South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said. Those North Korean soldiers immediately returned to their territory after South Korea's military fired warning shots and issued warning broadcasts, the Joint Chiefs of Staff said. It said North Korea had not conducted any other suspicious activities. South Korea's military has assessed that the North Korean soldiers didn't appear to have intentionally crossed the border because the site is a wooded area and MDL signs there weren't clearly visible, Joint Chiefs of Staff spokesperson Lee Sung-jun told reporters. Wow. So some North Korean troops crossed into South Korea, and the South Koreans fired warning shots. That is very, very concerning, guys. Very concerning. So we have to keep an eye on South Korea, just like I've told you guys. That could be the next big situation, the next big flashpoint, okay? But these Russian warships in Cuba are extremely concerning, and the Russian sub off of Florida, very, very concerning, guys. Okay, this could be a new Cuban Missile Crisis. We have some Russian propagandists already calling for Russia to deploy nuclear weapons in the Caribbean. So, you know, this is very, very concerning. So we have Russian warships already arriving in Cuba now, okay? Very, very serious. And what you're looking at, like I said, is a video of that. Russia is ready to strike NATO airfields hosting Ukrainian jets. The head of Kiev's Air Force, Sergei Golubtsov, previously stated that some F-16s donated to his country will be based abroad. Any airfields hosting Ukraine's F-16 fighter jets, whether they are in or outside the country, will be legitimate targets for the Russian military if they participate in combat missions against Moscow's forces, the chairman of the Russian State Duma Defense Committee, Andrei Kartoplov, has warned. The comments come as Kiev prepares to receive the first delivery of U.S.-made fighter jets from its Western backers after Ukrainian pilots were trained to fly them. In a statement to RIA Novosti published on Monday, Kartoplov clarified that if the F-16s are not used for their intended purpose or are simply held in storage at foreign air bases with the intent to transfer them to Ukraine, where they will be equipped, maintained, and flown from Ukrainian airfields, then Russia would have no claims against its former partners and would not target them. However, if the jets take off from foreign bases and carry out sorties and strikes against Russian forces, both the fighter planes and the airfields they are stationed at will be legitimate targets, according to Kartoplov. Okay, so this is the chairman of the Russian Parliament Defense Committee. Okay, so this guy obviously is, high ranking. Okay, he's definitely in the know. And he's saying that if Ukrainian fighter jets take off from NATO airfields or any airfields outside of Ukraine, then those airfields will be targeted if those jets are carrying out sorties against Russian forces. So this is huge news, guys. You see how things can easily escalate. Patricia Cox, thank you for the donation. Yes, that's a video of the Russian warship arriving in Cuba today. That is legit footage. Metal Seer, thank you for the donation. Was in high school during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Scary days. Looks like we're going to have another one. And Samuel Turner, thank you for the donation. I think China attacks Taiwan within the next 4 to 6 weeks to begin World War III with their allies. The U.S. is not ready. Thank you for the donation, Samuel Turner. I hope you're having a great night. Yes, I totally agree. And I think that China and Russia are pushing North Korea and Belarus to attack, South Korea or Lithuania, whatever, their neighbors, basically, to open up new fronts for the West. So we could have a massive multi-front war. We could have North Korea attacking South Korea, Belarus attacking Lithuania, Russia and Ukraine, Russia and NATO, China, Taiwan, China, Japan, China, U.S., Iran, Israel, Hezbollah, Israel, Rafah, Israel, Egypt, Israel. I mean, there's just so many different conflicts. Venezuela, Guyana, the Houthis. I mean, it's just insane how many wars there are right now. And they're just brewing. So, Lee Billy, thank you for that really generous donation. Wow, dude. I really appreciate that. I hope you're having a good Monday night. Greg, thanks for all the hard work you do for us. God blessed me, so I try to bless others. Wow, thank you so much for that donation. I wish I could give you something in return. That is really nice. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I don't know what to say. That's amazing. That might be one of the biggest donations I've ever gotten, probably. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Lee Billy, you've been a part of this channel for a very long time. You've been with us for a while now, for years. So, and you're a moderator too, on top of that. So yeah, you're the man. We go back a long time. What's going on, God's Soldiers Watchmen? Hope you're doing well. Tiffany Hartman, good to see you. Teresa Dunn. So let me just continue with this article here from RT Russia Today. As for our ability to shoot them down, we can shoot down anyone, anywhere, the MP insisted. Kartopolov's statement comes after the chief of aviation of Ukraine's Air Force Command, Sergei Galuptsov, stated in an interview with Radio Liberty on Sunday that some of the F-16 fighter jets donated to Kiev by the West would be stationed at foreign air bases. He explained that only a portion of the jets would be stationed directly on Ukrainian territory, corresponding to the number of pilots trained to operate the aircraft. The other jets would be kept in reserve at safe air bases abroad so that they are not targeted by the Russian military. Galuptsov stated that so far 4 countries have agreed to transfer F-16s to Ukraine, namely Belgium, Denmark, Norway, and the Netherlands. While he did not specify exactly how many aircraft would be donated, he claimed it was between 30 and 40 planes, with potentially more to come in the future. Meanwhile, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has also warned that Moscow would perceive the deliveries of F-16s to Ukraine as a nuclear threat, given that the jets have long been used as part of the U.S.-led bloc's joint nuclear missions. At the same time, the minister stressed that the U.S.-designed jets would not change the situation on the battlefield and would be shot down and destroyed like any other foreign weapons supplied to Ukraine. So this is going to be very interesting when Ukraine gets those fighter jets, it's going to be interesting to see if Russia can shoot down any of them or not. It's going to be very interesting. The F-16s are going to get a test against Russian air defenses, and Ukraine has already been destroying a lot of the Russian air defenses in Crimea and southern Russia. They've been taking out the S-400 systems with their HIMARS and various Western weapons. They took down several S-400s last night with ATACMS missiles in northern Crimea. So absolutely crazy, guys. Subs have long-range missiles, no more dangerous off the Florida coast than one sub have long-range missiles, no more dangerous off Florida. Thank you, Metal Seer. I appreciate the donation. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a good Monday night. So very serious situation here. Russia threatening to shoot or to strike any airfields, okay, that have F-16s that are used to carry out sorties against Russian forces, all right? So very serious, and South Korean troops firing warning shots at North Korean soldiers that briefly crossed the border, okay? So the situation between North and South Korea is rapidly spiraling out of control. I want to just quickly ask you guys to pray for someone. We have a regular on the channel here by the name of Iconic Meerkat. You've probably seen him in here before. But he lost someone in his family. Someone in his family died, and he's asking for prayers. So please keep Iconic Meerkat and his family in your prayers. So this is actual footage of one of the Russian warships going to Havana. Okay, this is insane, guys. This is absolutely insane. Samuel Turner, thank you for the donation. You are doing good and important work. Stay on message. You will save lives. Thank you, Samuel Turner. I'm definitely going to stay on message for sure. And thanks for the donation. I really appreciate that. It's very nice of you. And Hasta La Vista Adventures, thank you so much for the generous donation. Greg, you are a watcher on the wall. Thank you. No problem, Hasta La Vista. Really appreciate the donations, guys. Thank you so much. It's very nice of you. Thank you so much. So I have some stuff I want to show you guys. Let me see here. So this is actually from just about an hour ago. This is an aerial refueler that came from Maine, and it went down to the Florida area, okay, and it turned its transponder off, or it lost reception, you know, maybe like 100 or 200 miles off the coast of South Carolina. And my guess is this thing was going down to the area where the Russian sub was, and probably refueling some sub hunters and different types of assets that are monitoring this Russian sub. And somebody, Metal Seer, he donated, but I want to correct you. Yes, submarines that are far at sea, if they have nuclear-armed ballistic missiles, ICBMs, then yes, they can hit us from far at sea. But this particular sub is armed with short to medium range cruise missiles, and those cruise missiles only have a short to medium range, so they have to get close to our shoreline for those cruise missiles to work. Specifically, the Caliber cruise missile is one of the missiles that this Russian sub has, and those Caliber cruise missiles, they don't have a very long distance. They don't have a long range. I don't know exactly their range, but I think it's like maybe 1,000 miles, 1,500 miles, something like that. So they do have to be relatively close. So that is actually false. It depends on the type of submarine. Okay. So if we're talking about a ballistic missile submarine, then yeah, of course, if they're on the other side of the Atlantic or even in the Indian Ocean, they could hit us. But this particular submarine is armed with short to medium range cruise missiles. And the problem with cruise missiles, you want to guess what it is that cruise missiles cannot be easily detected. Okay, cruise missiles are specially designed to avoid radar detection versus ballistic missiles. You know, it's super easy to see a ballistic missile with any basic radar because it's like, you know, lighting up a Christmas tree in the middle of the night in a pitch black area. You know, you're going to see it from a long distance, right? You know, ballistic missiles, they fly straight up into the atmosphere. It's very similar to like a space rocket, okay? So, you know, you don't need very sophisticated radars. You just need very powerful radars that can see very far, and they'll be able to pick up that, you know, massive, you know, missile going straight up into space, okay? Versus cruise missiles, they fly maybe just 100 feet above the ground. They hug the ground, and because they hug the ground, they hide from radar. So this is actually very dangerous because if Russia wanted to launch some kind of surprise attack, they could do it with this sub. You know, they could launch cruise missiles. They could have even nuclear warheads on those cruise missiles. Okay, and they could target some of our critical areas like Kings Bay, Georgia, which is not that far from Cuba. Kings Bay, Georgia has a lot of our nuclear-armed submarines there. There's also some Trident missiles stored there, which are the ICBMs that are put on our Ohio-class subs. We also have some very important bases in Florida. We have Tyndall, we have MacDill. So a lot of important bases in Florida as well that they could hit. So with all due respect, Metal Seer, I appreciate the donation, but actually the information you shared is actually wrong. Not all submarines have long-range missiles. If you're talking about nuclear-armed subs, ballistic missile subs, yes, but not this type of sub. This is a nuclear-powered attack sub. Okay, so as a result, it has more torpedoes, anti-ship missiles, land attack missiles. Okay, they could even target our warships. There's a lot of things they could do with this thing. Okay, so this is very, very concerning. This is a very serious situation. Make no mistake about it. We also had a bunch of aerial refuelers head over the Atlantic tonight. This was taken just about an hour ago. This screenshot here right before I went on the stream. And we have multiple... We have, in this screenshot here, we have 4 KC-135s that went over the Atlantic. And then we also have a U.S. Air Force VIP plane that took off from D.C. and is also going over the Atlantic. Okay, so something's going on to have this many aerial refuelers going over the Atlantic. We currently have the Balt Ops exercises going on in the Baltic Sea, which, you know, includes like dozens of allied naval, naval ships. This is a very serious situation, guys, okay? The situation is just continuing to escalate between NATO and Russia, between China and the U.S., North Korea, Iran. It's just constantly escalating. We're now hearing of more and more talk that Israel is going to go after Hezbollah. Okay, if you guys thought that the operation in Gaza was intense, wait until Israel goes into Lebanon and they go after Hezbollah. That's going to be like Gaza on steroids. Okay, and Iran has already sent warnings to the U.S. threatening Israel, saying that if Israel goes into Lebanon, then Iran is going to directly attack Israel. Okay, so this is biblical, guys. The Bible says all these countries are going to turn against Israel and start attacking them. We're seeing that right now. And don't forget, 2 months ago, just right about 2 months ago, the culinary night, okay, and that whole week around the culinary night when Israel was planning their attack on Iran after Iran launched like hundreds of missiles at Israel. I mean, that's insane, guys. Iran literally launched, hundreds of missiles at Israel, at the Holy Land. Okay, I was covering it live. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember. There was video footage. You can still find it of these Iranian missiles flying over the Dome of the Rock, the holiest area of Jerusalem, and Israeli Iron Dome missiles were shooting down Iranian missiles right over Jerusalem, okay? So, that's just a huge sign that we're living in the end times, guys, okay? So get prepared. So let me just continue with some more breaking news here. Russian President Vladimir Putin is going to visit North Korea soon in the coming weeks. He's going to meet with Kim Jong-un. So that is very, very serious. And we're hearing that soldiers of Russian air defense forces are receiving orders in Crimea to evacuate and to evacuate their families from Crimea. Okay, so the Russian military is evacuating some of their air defense soldiers out of Crimea and their families. Very interesting. And this is to soften the battlefield. Ukraine wants to destroy as many air defenses as possible before they get those F-16s, because Russia has been preparing for those F-16s. They're not stupid, okay, because our administration here in the U.S. and in NATO, they've been talking about these F-16s for over a year. Instead of just keeping quiet about it and letting Russia guess and figure out what we're going to do. And, instead we tell them a year in advance, we're going to give Ukraine F-16s and we're training them now and they're going to arrive in 3 months. No, they're going to arrive in 6 months. That is just the most idiotic thing that you can do. I just really don't understand it. It would be like if the police are going to, arrest somebody with a search warrant, right? They have to kick the door in, the SWAT team comes in, surrounds the home. That would be like the SWAT team sending a letter to this person saying, hey, we're going to kick your door in tomorrow at 9 a.m., just so you know. I mean, that's just like the dumbest thing. What's this guy going to do? He's going to barricade his doors. He's going to set up firing positions so when the SWAT team comes, he can shoot out the windows. He's going to barricade his property, put up obstacles, booby traps, okay? And we're doing this the same stupid thing. We're telling them, oh, the F-16s will arrive in 3 months. I mean, how stupid is that? Okay, Russia's like, okay, we're just going to start putting our air defenses up now. We're going to prepare everything instead of being quiet about it and not telling Russia anything and then letting them find out about it that, oh, crap, yesterday we saw an F-16 flying over Ukraine. What are we going to do now? And then they're going to panic and try to figure out. Instead, we're telling them ahead of time, and that gives them all the time in the world to prepare for it. So it almost nullifies the whole thing. It kind of just defeats the whole purpose of it. It's just really idiotic, and there's still people out there that think that Biden is good for Ukraine, and they think that Democrats are good for Ukraine. I mean, that's just like the dumbest thinking. I don't understand it. It's under Biden that this whole war started, and this war has been dragging on for 2.5 years already because of Biden, because he didn't want to finish the job sooner, okay? Give the Ukrainians the F-16s, the HIMARS, the M1s, the Bradleys 2 years ago, not now. They should have gotten all this stuff within 6 months of the war breaking out, not 2.5 years later, okay? So, just really aggravating. But, you know, the Russians, they don't take Biden seriously. They don't take NATO seriously. They don't take the Democrats seriously because they know that NATO is in chaos. It's in disarray. They know that the West is more focused on climate change and, you know, all these social things, you know, which I can't really say here, but, you know, LGBT and all that stuff, you know, the West is just so heavily focused on LGBT rights and climate change and banning meat and, you know, making sure everybody gets pricked in the arm instead of focusing on this massive war that's going on. They're focusing on all this other crap, and Russia knows that, okay? Patricia Cox, thanks for the donation. Why off of Florida and not California? Don't forget the list of cyber attacks. These locations list Biden's office put out in the beginning. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Patricia, but thank you very much. So guys, this Russian sub is going to be hanging out for the next few months at minimum off of our coastline. We don't know exactly where it's going to be. It could be off of Florida one day, could be off of Louisiana the next day, could be off of Texas the other day. We really don't know, but this sub is going to be hanging out in the Caribbean for the next few months at minimum, okay? My guess is it's probably going to be a permanent deployment. It's a permanent deployment. They're moving a small detachment of naval warships to Cuba permanently, okay, to counter our deployment of forces to the Baltics and other areas near Russia. So this is like another Cuban Missile Crisis in the making. I mean, this is just, it's just insane. And, you know, this, like I said, these nuclear attack subs, they have cruise missiles that cannot be detected. They probably have 100 or more on board, and they could even have nuclear warheads. I would be very surprised if they did not have nuclear warheads, to be honest with you. I am almost 100% sure that they do have nuclear warheads, okay? So, but, you know, all this happening under the Democrats and the Biden administration. You know, a lot of people bash Trump and say, oh, if Trump gets elected, then he's going to just throw Ukraine to the wolves, you know, and Putin is going to take over Ukraine. That's just a bunch of Democrat fear-mongering that's not based on any truth, okay? It's just Democrat fear-mongering to try to prevent a Republican president and to get people to re-elect Biden so they can stay in control and continue to destroy our country. Robert Paulson, can you please read Revelation 3, chapter 7 through 9, or verse 7 through 9? Yes, I can do that. Definitely, I'll keep that in mind. I'll do that later on. Thank you, Robert, for the donation. Ann Callister, thank you for the donation. I hope you're having a great Monday night, Ann. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. EM, thank you for the donation. I hope you're having a great Monday night. Thank you for the very generous donation. Thank you, Greg. Our country and the world needs prayer, and I'm going to ask you to please lead us in a short prayer. I'll definitely do a prayer. In a few minutes here, I'll definitely do a prayer. Yeah, we definitely need a prayer for this country, for humanity in general, for God's children. Metal Seer says, can't we track subs? We can track them to a certain extent. There's no magic bullet. There's no magic bullet. You have to physically fly planes over certain areas. You have to fly over massive amounts of ocean. It's like the equivalent of doing a search and rescue for a missing person in, the Appalachian Mountains, or in the Rocky Mountains. That somebody got lost in, let's say, West Virginia, right? Okay, there's somebody who got lost in West Virginia. So what do? You send helicopters, you send dogs, but it's still a massive area that you have to cover, right? And it's rugged terrain. It's thick, it's wooded. There's no magic bullet, okay? There's no, miracle technology where we can just literally see through the water like Superman and have X-ray vision and just spot everything around. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry, but that's just not the way it works. They have to physically fly planes everywhere. They have to, be in the right place at the right time. The subs are very quiet, and the deeper they go, the harder it is to track them. So there's no magic bullet, even though we have a lot of sub-hunting technology. Really, the only way you can detect them is with either other submarines, with certain ships, warships, surface ships, or with sub-hunter planes, okay? And again, with all those, it's about being in the right place at the right time, and subs, especially attack subs, have to be very quiet, okay? So it's not going to be easy to track this thing, so that's just the hard reality, And then we had several nuclear war command and control planes in the air earlier this evening. Here you can see 3 of them. Okay, Boeing E-6 Mercuries. These planes are responsible for remotely launching all of our Minuteman III ICBMs with the Airborne Launch Control System, and they can also communicate with our submerged nuclear-armed subs. 3 of them in the air this evening, and there were also 2 earlier today. So that's a total of 5 nuclear war command and control planes in the air, guys. That is a lot of nuclear warplanes, 5 of them today, and then 3 B-52s. Lots of these tankers going overseas. This was earlier in the afternoon. You can see the 3 B-52s here over Louisiana and Oklahoma, the Ozarks. So just a very serious situation going on, just continued escalation. Thank you for the donation, Metal Seer. I appreciate it. Here we have some video footage coming out of the UK. We have this B-52 nuclear bomber that went on a mission to the Baltics on Saturday. This was on Saturday morning. This B-52 flew all the way to Lithuania again. Okay, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a B-52 that flew to the Suwałki Gap. And here we have another one that flew to Lithuania on Saturday. So let me just play this for you. You can actually, I'm trying to see if it had any missiles on its pylons. Doesn't look like it had any missiles on its pylons. It's a little bit dark here. Yeah, I don't see any missiles on its pylons, but there could be some in its bomb bay. They might not have missiles visible on their pylons in case Russia flies a reconnaissance sortie. They don't want Russia to see that they have missiles on their pylons. So they might be inside of the bomb bay just to kind of keep it more discreet. Yeah, I don't see any missiles on the pylons there. So they probably have them in the bomb bay. Unless it's just a deterrence mission, I don't know. Let me show you the flight path here of these of this B-52. Let me see, where was that? Damn it, I just had it. Anyway, I'll come back to that. I'll find it for you guys. So this thing flew to Lithuania Saturday. Took off from the UK, from this base right here. I think this was at RAF Fairford. Yeah, no missiles on the you see the pylons there? So they're empty. There's no missiles under the wings. But yeah, these things are just devastating. I mean, they can carry 20 nuclear-tipped cruise missiles, each one. Just devastating firepower. I mean, this one plane alone can just absolutely annihilate a small country by itself, just one plane. And we have 50 of them ready to go at a moment's notice, in addition to our stealth bombers, in addition to the F-16s in Europe and F-35s that can deliver B-61s. So, America has a lot of firepower in the theater. Now, we had this nuke sniffer plane that was doing loops over Roswell, New Mexico earlier today, which is very strange. Roswell, as you guys know, is where that UFO crashed. I don't forget what year that was. Was that in the 60s? When the Roswell UFO crashed? But as you see here, there was a nuke sniffer looping right over Roswell earlier this afternoon. So there must be something going on in Roswell. Maybe there's like some kind of portal over there to other dimensions or something, and maybe they can detect its the energy it's giving off or something. I don't know. 1947. Okay, 1947. I thought it was 1967, but okay, 1947. Maybe there's some kind of vortex over here, or some kind of what do they call it? A wormhole or something? Maybe there's a wormhole that the aliens are using to go to Roswell, and the nuke sniffer's picking it up. I don't know. I'm just guessing. There could be. I believe that there's stuff like that out there. That I believe there's like wormholes and stuff. Especially like the if you read a lot of stuff about the Native Americans. Yeah, portal. Exactly, a portal. If you read a lot of stuff about the Native Americans and the Mayans, there was some evidence there that they were using portals, But this is crazy, guys. Absolutely insane. And then afterwards, this same nuke sniffer, or maybe a different one, flew down to Georgia. But this was very interesting. And then earlier this evening, we had a P-8 Poseidon sub-hunter off the east coast of Florida here doing loops, monitoring this Russian sub. So, this is a very serious situation, guys. Very, very serious. Okay, we have a Russian sub armed with cruise missiles, anti-ship missiles, torpedoes. I'm sure it has some other stuff, too, that I'm missing, and it's right off of our coastline, okay? And it could be off of Florida today. Tomorrow it could be off of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. It can go anywhere it wants basically now. Okay. So this is very serious, and we did have this strange exercise take place at Offutt Air Base Saturday. This was posted on the Offutt Air Base Facebook page. It says, exercise, exercise, exercise. Offutt Air Base will conduct a major accident response exercise Saturday, June 8th. Base personnel can expect to receive exercise announcements via phone. This is a normal and routine training event. Expect to hear mass notification system on and around the installation during the exercise, as well as loud noises, sirens, and smoke. Okay? So this is very strange. Now, also, speaking of notifications, I have a subscriber in Hawaii that is in the military, and he lives on a base, and he was telling me that there's been a lot of sirens, just random like sirens going off in Hawaii, at least where he is located. I don't know about all of Hawaii, but where he is located, there was a siren that went off over the weekend. And now today there was another one. I don't know if there's anybody here who lives in Hawaii that maybe heard something. But I have actually a video I want to share from my source. He was kind enough to take a video of these sirens going off today. Let me see if I can get that for you. Hang on one moment here. Let's see. One sec here, guys. Let me see if I can get this up on the screen. So I don't know if anybody out there is watching this from Hawaii. Have you heard any sirens in Hawaii lately? Let me see if I can get this for you guys here. Okay, here's the video. This was provided to me by a subscriber who is in the military in Hawaii, and he told me that these sirens were going off over the weekend and now today again. So listen closely. You may have to turn your volume up a little. Oh, one sec here. I had the volume off. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Let me know if you guys can hear that or not. It's very quiet. You have to listen closely. Yeah, this was in Hawaii. I believe this is near a military base. This guy's in the military. I can't really say what he does. It's very secret, but he sent this video. This was earlier today. So, and he said over the weekend also. So I think it's related to North Korea because North Korea's been, really doing a lot of stuff lately, and I think Hawaii's getting ready for, possible North Korean strike, um, which I think is very possible. North Korea could easily strike uh, Hawaii. Tiffany says getting as creepy as The Purge. Yeah, The Purge, good movies. My favorite Purge was Purge Anarchy. I think that was probably my favorite one. Yeah, I was just thinking about that, Z Cali, about the false missile warning in Hawaii. Yeah, that was a few years ago. I actually still had my YouTube channel was just starting out when that happened. I remember I did a video on that when it happened. Um, So, and then we have this exercise here in Offutt Air Base. So, just very weird stuff going on. Um, Thank you for the donation, Pamela. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a good Monday night. Thank you very much. So, let me see. I had something else I wanted to share. Oh, there was some like techno music being broadcasted tonight on the Russian buzzer. The Russian buzzer is one of the Russian nuclear war frequencies. So let me see if I can play that for you guys. I got a sound clip of it. See if I can play that. Maybe not. Maybe I don't have it on this one here. Let's see. If not, I can. It's probably still playing, but there's like weird techno music in the background. It could be the Ukrainians, jamming and stuff. It's pretty funny though. But I'm going to continue to monitor this sub and the Russian Navy in the Caribbean and in Cuba. They're going to be all over the place. They could be off the coast of Florida one day, off the coast of Texas. I mean, this is going to really keep our troops, our sailors busy. Our sailors and airmen are going to be really busy now monitoring our backyard, basically. Okay, because 4 warships and a submarine. I mean, that's a pretty decent size force. That's not a one ship or something. We're talking 4 ships with cruise missiles, several cruise missiles on each one, plus the sub. Jennifer Doyle Art, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. We have 2 P8s off the Florida coast right now, according to someone in the chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So yeah, it's a crazy situation here. Let me see if I can get this Russian buzzer going. It's really interesting. They've been playing like techno music. Very bizarre. Not sure what to make of it. Flynn K, thanks for the donation, Flynn. I appreciate it. See where Putin has said Russian weapons will probably be placed in Venezuela and Mexico. Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, so now he's going to place those weapons in Cuba, possibly. I don't think it's just Venezuela and Mexico. I think Cuba, Nicaragua. From what I understand, the Russians have started building a sub base in Nicaragua or something years ago. Alan says after Roswell, American technology jumped 1,000%. Wow. That is true, actually. Very true, actually. So let me just play this for you guys. There's no EAMs coming in at the moment. There's nothing coming in at the moment. Lil Kim Outlaw, thank you for the donation. So, do you think Russia will launch a missile of any type onto U.S. soil? Can we just intercept missiles like Israeli Iron Dome? Unfortunately, no, we don't have any coastal air defenses or anything. We got rid of those in the 60s and 70s. We used to have the Nike missiles. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of the Nike missiles. They had basically these missiles all along the East Coast. Specifically in the East Coast, they had all these missiles. They were like medium-range ballistic missiles that they would use to shoot down Soviet missiles. And they were ground-based, fixed sites, not mobile. They were fixed. They had like silos. And there was even on Long Island, they had them on Long Island. Wow, you hear that music? This is literally on the Russian nuclear war frequency, guys. This is on the Russian buzzer. There's like music. It's just so weird. Wow, that is so weird. So I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. You can hear some of the music in the background. I don't want to play too much because I don't know if YouTube will copyright it or some weird thing like that. But Deidre Fat, thank you for the donation, and no problem for the update. No problem, and thank you for all your support, Deidre. I know you're a regular, so thank you very much. Really appreciate that. You guys can hear it. Adriana says she can hear it. Sounds like opera. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but there's like some weird weird music. Let me turn it on again. Hold on 1 second, guys. Trying to get this started up again. Hold on 1 sec, guys. I'm just trying to find a good station to get this buzzer in nice and clear. Yeah, so very strange. The buzzer should normally be buzzing. That's why it's called the buzzer. It should be buzzing right now, but instead it's playing music or some weird tone. Here's another tone here on the buzzer. You know, normally the buzzer, it has it has like this buzzing tone, so it's just really strange. Yeah, it sounds like jamming, right? Sounds like jamming. So anyway, that's what's going on the buzzer. And earlier today, we had the Belarusian Minister of Defense, Viktor Krenin, state that Belarus is getting ready to start their second stage of nuclear war exercises with Russia. Okay, so this is very, very concerning, guys. Very concerning. So, you know, just get prepared. Things are really getting crazy. Let's just check out the flight tracker now and see if there's anything off of Florida. Let's just check some stuff here. We do have a P-8 Poseidon. Check this out. Got a P-8 Poseidon flying off the coast of West Palm Beach. Look at that, guys. Wow. took off from Jacksonville. It's flying pretty low here, right off of West Palm Beach. When they fly low like that, it's usually when they have a bead on something. So they fly low to get more info. Right now it's flying at 5,000 feet, so just about a mile above the ocean, right next to Mar-a-Lago. I don't know exactly where Mar-a-Lago is, but Natasha Tilson, thank you for the donation. Thank you for your countless hours and sleepless nights and pure-hearted dedication. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So this is crazy, guys. This is absolutely insane. This thing is flying fast. Let's see. It's moving at 512 knots. And its altitude is 5,400 feet. So it's moving pretty fast here. It's actually not that far offshore. We're looking at what looks like about 10 or maybe more, maybe like 20 miles offshore. As far as I know, the E6 is not over New England anymore. The E6 is not over New England. It's gone. It passed over New England already. Oh, no, it's still over there. Okay, never mind. My apologies. Yeah, it looks like it could be going overseas. It could be going overseas with all those other refuelers, the 4 refuelers I showed you guys, and the VIP plane. Maybe it's going overseas. We have this U.S. Navy Sikorsky Seahawk here flying along Cape Hatteras. Very interesting. Looks like it's patrolling the shoreline here. Maybe just visually checking to see if there's any Russian subs or ships hanging out over here. The E6 is going to Bangor. It could be going to Bangor, yeah. Sometimes they go to Bangor, sometimes they don't. It's hard to say. It could be going to Bangor, though. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, please, no caps lock unless you're a moderator. Only moderators can use caps lock. Otherwise people would just blow up the chat with caps all the time, and it would just be annoying, you know. But yeah, we have this Seahawk here off the coast of Cape Hatteras. Very interesting. Yeah, this P8 hanging out over here off of West Palm Beach. Wow. It's just absolutely insane. We also have this U.S. Coast Guard plane. Check it out. This U.S. Coast Guard plane is actually flying. It's the right now it's the number 3 most tracked plane worldwide on flight radar. It's a Coast Guard Ocean Sentry, so it could be also keeping an eye out for the Russian sub. Oh, wait, look at this. We have another... What's this? Wow, look, another P8 just popped up. Holy cow. Look at this, guys. This is insane. We now have 2 P8 Poseidons here. These are sub-Hunter planes flying between the Bahamas and West Palm Beach. And then we have this Coast Guard Ocean Sentry flying in the same area. Wow. This is absolutely insane. So something's going on, guys. This is definitely not normal. This is very unusual. Very unusual. Lil Kim Outlaw, thank you for the donation. Can you finish answering these two questions? Do you think that Russia will launch a missile onto U.S. soil, and can we intercept? I already answered the second one. The answer to the second one, I already said no, we cannot intercept missiles like Israel's Iron Dome. We don't have an Iron Dome. I don't even think we have Patriot missiles set up to guard our own territory, because we're always just sending our Patriot missiles to other countries, but we don't even have them set up to protect our own country. So no, we don't have any capabilities to shoot down cruise missiles. We do have the mid-course defense, the ground-based mid-course defense, but that's just for ICBMs. That's for a full-on nuclear war. And the purpose of the ground-based mid-course defense, a lot of people don't understand why we have it. They say, oh, we only have 100 interceptors. You know, what good is that if Russia's going to fire 1,500 warheads? Well, it's for destroying those warheads or missiles that are going to be targeting our cities. That's what the ground-based mid-course system is for. It's to protect our cities, because Russia would probably commit roughly about 100 warheads to our cities if it escalated enough for the counter value portion of their strike. So that's what the mid-course system is for. But other than that, no, we do not have any air defenses. Like I said before, we used to have Nike missiles, and the Nike missiles were great, but they phased them out because they felt like they were pointless. They'd rather focus on strategic weapons, and the threat of Russia getting close to our shores and launching missiles from like 200 miles off our shore disappeared at some point later on in the Cold War, when the ICBMs were really being developed. So they figured, oh, there's no point to have the Nike missiles anymore, because Russia's not going to attack us from 100 miles offshore. They're going to use ICBMs, you know. And then do I think Russia will launch a missile? It's very possible. I think it's highly likely, actually, and it's even biblical. It's even biblical that there will be a nuclear war according to the Bible. So you know, but the Nike missiles were pretty badass. The Nike missiles were pretty badass. It's a shame that we phased them out. We phased out a lot of badass weapons over the years, unfortunately, and the real reason why is because of the nuclear disarmament crowd, the people that believe that we should just disarm ourselves of nukes, and that would make the world a safer place if America, you know, disarmed itself, which is the opposite. That would actually cause a nuclear war, because then Russia would take that as an opportunity and they would strike us, knowing that we don't have adequate weapons to defend ourselves. But, you know, the nuclear disarmament groups are very dangerous to our nuclear arsenal, and they're very dangerous to our status as the greatest nuclear power in the world. And, you know, we have to maintain that status. I know a lot of people think that, oh, America is the bully. But, you know, if we don't maintain our top status, then you're going to have Russia and China and Iran and North Korea take over. And we're going to live in a world where Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, Venezuela, and all these other countries are going to be, you know, running the world. Do you want to have a world like that for your kids? I don't. So, but we have to push back against the nuclear weapons disarmament groups that want America to basically chop down our nuclear arsenal while Russia gets to keep theirs, which is like suicidal. It's like disarming a New York City police department, New York City police officer who works the streets in Brooklyn, night shift. Oh yeah, just take his gun away. Yeah, see how that'll work out. What do I know about NORAD? NORAD is a major nuclear war target. NORAD is one of the top nuclear war targets in this country. NORAD, obviously, they have Cheyenne Mountain nearby. Supposedly, the NORAD was actually relocated out of Cheyenne Mountain, supposedly. The bunker is still there, but they don't have NORAD in the bunker anymore. Supposedly, it's at Peterson Air Force Base. And then they still keep Cheyenne Mountain as a VIP bunker. But the thing is a lot of these bunkers are well known. And so don't expect, our president or Vladimir Putin to go to their well-known bunkers that both sides know where they're located. Like, for example, Yamantu Mountain or Kazvinsky Kamen, Cheyenne Mountain, Mount Weather. These types of bunkers everybody knows about, and they're going to get hit with multiple warheads. So I personally believe that all these well-known bunkers the VIPs are not going to be in these bunkers. They're going to be in other bunkers that are secret, that have not been disclosed, So that's what I think. Good night, Tiffany. Thanks for moderating. Good to see you. Was that Tiffany Hartman that's going to sleep? Yeah, Tiffany Hartman. Early work tomorrow. Have a good night's sleep, and hope you have a good day tomorrow. And good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I see the moderators are busy tonight. Thank you guys so much. Amy Sturdivant and Z Cali, thank you guys. Ruthie Green says, hey, NYPrepper, watching from Marion, Arkansas. Thank you, Ruthie. I appreciate that. So it's going to be a long and crazy summer, guys. It's going to be a long and crazy summer. We got Russian subs off our coast now, Russian warships in Cuba. We got everything else going on in Europe. F-16s on the way to Ukraine. I mean, it's just the escalation is inevitable. Escalation is inevitable. And I do think, unfortunately, we're going to see nuclear weapons detonated over Ukraine. I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to see nuclear warheads detonated over Ukraine. Yeah, you can clearly see, though, that we have multiple sub hunters here off the coast of Florida. Absolutely crazy. Keeping an eye on this area here. Looks like this Russian sub could be passing through this area here between the Bahamas and Florida. Maybe the Russian sub is coming through here now as it goes down to Cuba, because actually Havana's right here, so it's possible that the Russian sub is going to come down this way, through these straits. I guess you could call them like straits, the areas between the Bahamas and Florida. It may come down this way and then into Havana. But man, that is so close. Havana's just right next to Florida. Look at that, guys. Florida Straits are right here. I mean, it's just, how far is that? It's like, what, 60 miles, 100 miles, something like that. Absolutely insane. David Fariello, good to see you. Hope you're having a good Monday night. Ready to bug out if necessary. Camper, ready to go if that becomes an option. Live in upstate New York, so I feel relatively safe. Yeah, upstate New York is relatively safe. There's not a lot of nuclear war targets in New York. The biggest the biggest threat in New York and the Northeast is anywhere along the eastern seaboard, but especially like New York City, which is the most densely populated city in the whole country. You know, you're going to have millions and millions of refugees that are going to be flooding out of the city in a crisis looking for safer places. And they're going to have, they're not, most of those people are not going to be preppers. You know, they're just going to be panicking city slickers, essentially. You know, so you got to be prepared for that. But upstate New York is very rugged, and in the winter it's cold, so that's a natural barrier. We have this nuke sniffer on its way back from Florida, heading back to Offutt Air Base. Very interesting. Very interesting. It was flying over Daytona Beach. But look at this, guys. This Ocean Sentry plane, this U.S. Coast Guard Ocean Sentry, is actually now looping right off of Port Salerno, Florida, near Port St. Lucie. It's just looping right here. Interesting. Thank you again, David Fariello. Is Tulsa a nuclear target? No, Tulsa is not a nuclear war target. The biggest target in Oklahoma is Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is a major nuclear war target due to Tinker Air Force Base being there. So, Tinker Air Force Base, that's a major nuclear war target. And thanks again to all the moderators. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for monitoring the chat, keeping things orderly. I wouldn't be able to do these streams without you guys, so thank you very much. Kentucky does have a target. It has Paducah, but that's like far western Kentucky, close to the Mississippi River. The Paducah plant, it's a nuclear enrichment site. The Paducah plant, that's like right on the Mississippi River. So yeah, the rest of Kentucky doesn't have any nuclear war targets. Yeah, I've talked about Pennsylvania a lot. Pennsylvania is actually a really good prepping state. What's good about Pennsylvania is you can go in any direction. You're not landlocked. You're not backed up to like a border of, like, let's say Canada or something. If you're, let's say, in New York or New England, you're backed up to the Canadian border, so you can only go one direction, and that's south. And then if you have to go south from New England, you're going to be running into all those fleeing city slickers from Manhattan, you know, and downtown Boston, millions and millions of city slickers with no skills, no preparations, and they're going to be desperate, they're going to be hungry, and they're going to, you know, be a serious threat. So PA is an Appalachian state, so there's a lot of hills and forests. It's 60% forested, so you know, generally you want to, for a prepping area, you want to live in a state that has a lot of forest cover. Forests provide concealment. Forests also help regulate climate, your local climate. You know, if they can break wind, trees can break wind. They can provide shade and stuff. Deborah, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Deborah says, for our awesome mods, they deserve it. Thank you, guys and gals. Thank you so much, Deborah. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Very generous of you. Lay, thank you for gifting 10 memberships, Lay. I appreciate it. So yeah, as far as Pennsylvania goes, it's one of the northern part of Pennsylvania, especially north central PA, the Allegheny Plateau, north central, northwestern PA, is one of the best areas in the eastern U.S., along with the Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee and Kentucky and the Ozark Mountains. Those are going to be your top 3 areas which have the best balance of everything. And then you have just pure isolation. Then you can go to like the northern Great Lakes, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, just pure isolation. But the problem with those states is a lot of them are very anti-Second Amendment and anti freedom, especially Minnesota. But this is interesting, guys. Multiple sub-hunters here off the coast of Florida, off of West Palm Beach. We also have a sub-hunter in the Eastern Mediterranean. Check it out. Wow. Sub-hunter in the Eastern Mediterranean. So that's pretty much all the latest breaking news that I have. Very serious stuff going on, guys. So get prepared. We got some live cams from Kaliningrad and Pskov in Russia here, monitoring Russia this morning to see if there's any unusual activity. We have the emergency action messages going on in the background so we can monitor the nuclear attack options. So far it's been unusually quiet. Not too many emergency action messages tonight. Although earlier today, we did have, I see Tammy, thank you for the donation, Tammy. Is Rapid City a target? Rapid City itself is not a target, but yes, Ellsworth Air Force Base is a target. Ellsworth Air Force Base right outside of Rapid City is a target, but if let's say you can get into the Black Hills, you'll be protected in the Black Hills. If you can get a small piece of land somewhere in the Black Hills, that would be ideal. Build a small cabin there or park a camper there. That's going to be your best bet. I've been to Rapid City. I've been to the Black Hills. I love it there. It's beautiful. I wanted to move there actually, but the problem was my family was going to stay here in the east, so I didn't want to move out west and be separated from my family, from my immediate family. But it's Black Hills are a great area for preppers, because you're hundreds and hundreds of miles from any city. Western South Dakota is a great area, especially the Black Hills region, because you have a lot of moisture there. It's not dry. You have forest cover, lots of wild game and fish. Black Hills are an excellent area for preppers. Far north Georgia, Blue Ridge Mountains, great area to survive. Yes, Blue Ridge Mountains are definitely a great option. The only downside to them is that they're kind of close to Atlanta. So a lot of people from Atlanta are going to go there. That's going to be one of the first areas they go to. Any of these like mountains that are very close to big cities. Somebody asked me earlier about Virginia. Virginia's okay, but for the most part, Virginia's not the best area, especially the northern part and the eastern part, because you have, over a dozen major military bases in Virginia, plus you have D.C. right there. So Virginia's not the best area, unfortunately. You have a lot of, you have a big cities nearby. Is that to say that some rural areas in Virginia are you could find some rural areas in Virginia that are quiet and far from big cities, but for the most part, in general, Virginia is not necessarily the best. So, everyone from the D.C. area and Richmond, they're all going to flood to the Blue Ridge Mountains and to Shenandoah. That's where everybody's going to go. So, northern Minnesota, I mean, the further north you can get to Minnesota, the better. But really, anywhere in Minnesota is not bad. As long as you have a good distance from the Twin Cities. But yeah, northern Minnesota is a great spot. It's it's for pure isolation, and natural resources. It's a great spot. But again, Minnesota is a blue state, deep blue state, and freedoms are very limited there, so it can be difficult to prep. But yeah, like far northern Minnesota, I mean, you don't have to go that far north, even getting up towards those lakes there, the first few lakes that start showing up, like once you're about 50 miles to 100 miles north of, or 50 miles north of Minneapolis, there's that one big lake over there. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, correct. Oak Ridge, Tennessee is a major nuclear war target. That's where they built the atom bomb, and they still do nuclear enrichment there. So, yeah, this could be like the Cuban Missile Crisis Part 2, for sure. This could be the Cuban Missile Crisis Part 2, absolutely. Look how quiet it is in Kaliningrad this morning. It's 6:20 in the morning over there. So, very quiet in Kaliningrad. Do I think the Russians would strike decommissioned Air Force bases so they could become unusable, cratered with a ground burst? Yeah, that's one thing that I've always kind of considered. I think that is a possibility. They could potentially take out decommissioned airfields, decommissioned silos. There's still a few silo fields left over in like Missouri and South Dakota that they could target. There's several silo fields that have been decommissioned that they could still hit, just to be for them on the safe side. I also think that the Russians would try to hit major airports. I'm talking about airports that have a runway of over 2 miles, and those are airports that could be used by bombers to land. Bombers need a lot of runway to land because they're very heavy and they carry a lot of weapons. So when they're fully loaded down, they need a lot of runway to land. So any airport that's has like a 2 mile runway, roughly 2 mile long runway, is vulnerable to a potential strike by Russia, because Russia is going to want to take out all those long runway strips so our bombers can't use them to operate from. So if you live near a long runway, a big international airport, especially large international airports. I mean, those are definitely going to be hit, like JFK, Newark, the ones in LA, LAX, the ones in Chicago, the one in Chicago, Reagan International, they're all going to get hit. The 800 largest cities in the U.S. are all targets. No. First of all, they don't even have enough weapons to hit 800 cities. And no, I would say the top 50 largest cities in the country would be major targets. The big cities. The major cities would get hit. And that's only if they go to a counter value strike. They may not go to a counter value strike. They may be afraid to do that because they may fear our response, to their counter value strike. So. Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing my playlist. I appreciate it. We have Senator Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham is saying that Ukraine is sitting on 10 to 12 trillion dollars of minerals. Ukraine could be the richest country in all of Europe. That's what Lindsey Graham said on CBS Face the Nation. Very interesting. Absolutely. That's why Biden wants Ukraine. Yeah, it's very possible. So one of the warships that arrived in Cuba, the Russian warship, can carry hypersonic missiles. So that's very alarming. Very alarming. So this sub that they have off our coast, it's called the Kazan. Kazan. Let me play it. Let me show you guys this infographic here. The Kazan. So Kazan, Russia's newest nuclear-powered multi-purpose attack sub. This is a Yasin M class submarine, a fourth-generation nuclear submarine projected to replace Soviet-era Akula and Oscar-class subs. It's a counterpart to the U.S. Seawolf class and Virginia-class attack subs. It has a length of 120 to 140 meters. Surface displacement of 8,600 tons. Submerged, it's 13,800 tons. It can dive down to 600 meters. And it can stay underwater for 100 days. It's nuclear powered, so it could basically stay underwater as long as it has food and supplies for the crew. It can stay forever underwater if it just needs to surface for supplies. It has the Caliber cruise missile with a max range of 2,600 kilometers. So that's going to be what is that? It's going to be like 1,800 miles. It has 8 vertical launch tubes that can carry 32 Caliber missiles or 24 Onyx supersonic cruise missiles. It's powered by a 200 megawatt pressurized water reactor. It has 8 650 millimeter and 2 533 millimeter torpedo tubes. It has a low magnetic steel partial double hull design, reduces noise while ensuring buoyancy. So this thing is no joke. Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Duchess of Dub, thank you. Sounds good, Laura. Thank you for sending the pictures of the bears. That's really cool. Now's the perfect time to see bears right now. Now's a great time. Sweatnam Ministries, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Jesus is coming soon. Just checking to see if there's any updates here. The U.S. has lifted weapons bans for Ukraine's Azov Brigade. The U.S. will allow Ukraine's Azov Brigade to use weapons provided by the U.S. to fight Russia's full-scale invasion, the State Department announced June 10th, reversing a long-standing policy. Wow. The Azov Battalion is now going to be allowed to use U.S. weapons. That's insane. That's very serious. Let's just read this here. After thorough review, Ukraine's 12th Special Forces Azov Brigade passed Lehi vote vetting as carried out by the State Department, the department said in a statement obtained by the Washington Post. The statement refers to the Lehi Law, which prohibits the U.S. from providing aid to foreign military units suspected of human rights violations. The Azov Brigade, part of Ukraine's National Guard, became a symbol of Ukraine's resistance through their defense of the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol in the first 3 months of the full-scale war. Russian forces eventually took Mariupol on May 2022, capturing the remaining defenders, blah, blah, blah. So, very interesting, guys. Very interesting. Satellite images showed destroyed Russian equipment in occupied Crimea. Satellite images. Hold on, let me just change the squelch here. Satellite images show the aftermath of a Ukrainian strike on Russian military targets in the city of Jankoy in occupied Crimea. Radio Free Europe's investigative project Schemes reported on June the 10th, citing images from the Planet Labs satellite. Ukrainian forces attacked Russian S-400 and S-300 anti-aircraft missile systems in several areas in occupied Crimea overnight on June the 10th. The General Staff reported that an S-400 missile unit was hit near Jankoy. Journalists obtained satellite images recorded by the Earth imaging company Planet Labs that depict the consequences of a large fire near the Jankoy railway. The image quality is not high enough to identify the precise equipment located in the area. The recorded data shows that an object appeared in the location in May of 2024 and that fortifications were built nearby. Military expert Anatoly Kravchinsky said that the Russian radar system Podlet used with S-300 and S-400 missiles could have been located in the area pictured. The Ukrainian military reported that the Russian radar systems stopped working immediately after the attacks. Wow. Wow. And the president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, has arrived in Germany to discuss military assistance, expanding air defense capacity, and joint arms production. President Vladimir Zelensky arrived in Germany on June 11th to take part in the Ukraine Recovery Conference and meet with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. The Ukraine Recovery Conference 2024, hosted in Berlin, will convene government officials, companies, and organizations to address Ukraine's ongoing reconstruction needs, focusing primarily on energy infrastructure. In the face of Russia's air terror, Urgent solutions for Ukraine's energy sector will be our top priority, Zelensky said. Zelensky and Scholz will discuss military equipment or military assistance for Ukraine, expanding air defense capacity, and joint arms production, the president said. Zelensky will also meet with German President Frank Steinmeier and Bundestag President Barbel Boss. During his stay to Germany, Zelensky also plans to visit a military base where Ukrainian service members are training. Zelensky's visit to Germany comes shortly after Berlin issued a major policy reversal, allowing Ukraine to use German weapons to strike targets within Russian territory. So, very interesting, guys. Zelensky suddenly going to Germany after Germany okayed Ukraine to use their weapons inside of Russia. That is huge. So they're probably going to give Ukraine weapons now that can strike deep into Russia. And, that I think that could push Putin over the edge. Very quiet tonight on the emergency action messages. Unusually quiet. Very, very quiet. Unusual. Considering we had 5 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air today. 5 nuclear war planes, but no EAMs is very strange. What's going on, Smoky Mountain Prepper? Rodney Middleton, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good, morning over there, right? Or midday. Yeah, I can send you an email when I go live. Yeah, I can do that. Sure. I can do that. It's kind of sporadic sometimes, so sometimes I just forget. Where in Florida are the subs? The subs are, they're potentially off of West Palm Beach, near the Bahamas, possibly. As you can see in the top left corner of your screen, you can see this U.S. Coast Guard Ocean Sentry flying near West Palm Beach, doing a reconnaissance pattern. So this is where the Russian sub is. Potentially. Look at this, guys. Wow. Look at what this Coast Guard plane is doing. It looks like it's doing some kind of search grid here. Look at that. It's doing a search grid. And then here we have two P-8 Poseidons here. So, very interesting. And then we have this nuke sniffer. Wow. That's crazy, guys. That is one serious search grid. Wow. You don't really see that too often. Yes, Rodney Middleton, that's the Russian sub and the three warships. The three warships, yes, they've already arrived in Havana. The Russian warships have arrived in Havana, Cuba already. So, yeah, that is part of the group of ships. And just to remind you guys, those warships are capable of carrying hypersonic missiles. Unusually quiet for the EAMs tonight. Very strange. Let me see if we can poke around some different frequencies here. Maybe we can find some Cuban spy stations. I would imagine they're going to be very active. They were going off all morning this morning. Interesting. Looks like we have a NOTAM up for the entire eastern seaboard now. We have a NOTAM up. Wow. The military is closing down a huge chunk of airspace off the eastern U.S. Wow. Looks like there were some Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon on Hezbollah. They targeted a military complex and depot belonging to the Hezbollah 44,000 unit, 4,400 unit. Yeah, so we have a giant NOTAM up on the eastern U.S. That's not a good sign. We have some very concerning breaking news coming in right now. Apparently, the U.S. military has closed down an entire chunk of the airspace of the eastern U.S. right off the coast of D.C. Huge chunk off the coast of D.C. out in the Atlantic. Trying to find out more information for you guys. And this Coast Guard plane is still doing this search pattern here. Big search grid. Cuba is in GoldenEye. You guys remember GoldenEye? There's that one part of the movie and the video game where James Bond goes to Cuba. That's where actually that's the end of the game. The last level is the antenna cradle in this satellite station in Cuba. Cuba is a huge country. Look how big it is. It's pretty large. It's a big chunk of land. It's like almost as big as Florida. Oh yeah, there's a Canadian warship. Check this out, guys. There's a Canadian warship off the coast of Florida now. Looks like it's chasing that sub. Let me see if I can share that with you guys. Let's check some of these vessels here in this area. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got a some kind of American law enforcement plane or ship in the same area as that as the Coast Guard plane. Check this out. We got this one. Wow, we actually got 2 U.S. government vessels here. Check this out. We got U.S. Gov Vessel 103. We have this other one here. Wow, lots of... This is the same area where the Coast Guard plane is flying. Yeah, we got a law enforcement boat here right off the coast of West Palm Beach. Interesting. We got some U.S. government vessel here. I don't know if you guys can see that. U.S. Gov Vessel 103. Wow, so the Coast Guard has been tracking this Russian sub from all the way in the mid-Atlantic. This Coast Guard Stone ship. Putin's going to be visiting North Korea for the first time in 20 years, like I said. Yeah, wow. Coast Guard Stone. Yeah, so this Russian sub is right off of Florida now. It's right off of West Palm Beach. That's what it looks like. If we have that Coast Guard ship there, and then we have this Coast Guard plane. right in the same area. So, pretty serious stuff going on. Let me just check the chat, see what you guys are saying. What's going on, Duramax News? How's it going? Sharon GS, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Tim said massive fighter jet movement in North Carolina, and someone said Russian plane off the coast of Israel a little while ago. Yeah, so the Russian plane off of Israel, I believe I saw that one earlier. I'm not too worried about it because usually those are the planes that they use to give so-called humanitarian aid to Israel. So that Russian plane probably just, maybe it's just taking a quick look at everything there, but I'm not really too worried about it. They fly there a lot. They usually go to Egypt or they go to Libya. Let me just take another look at it. Thank you for that donation, Sharon. I appreciate it. So yeah, so this plane, it looks like it's going to Syria, but yeah, for some reason it looped around. It looped around and flew kind of in the Eastern Med, and then it went off the flight tracker. So yeah, I don't think it's anything concerning. It kind of just quickly passed by. Look, we have this naval ship here. Look, U.S. government vessel 103. This thing is right off the coast of Florida now. Wow. Let me see. I'm just going to look up its call sign and see. kind of ship this is. Oh yeah, this is the USS Truxtun, it looks like. It's an Arleigh Burke class destroyer. Oh wow. Wow guys, this is huge. We have an Arleigh Burke class destroyer. Look at this. Let me see here. We have Arleigh Burke class destroyer following this Russian sub now. Wow. Has the call sign NTRX. And that's the USS Truxtun, this guy right here. Wow. DDG 103, that's it. Wow, this is a ship right off the coast of Florida, guys. Look, it's an Arleigh Burke class destroyer right off the coast of Florida. Wow, the USS Truxtun. That's it right there, right off the coast of Florida. Wow, that is absolutely huge news, guys. Wow. We have an Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer off the coast of Florida right now, trailing this Russian sub and the Russian warships. I mean, this could turn into a naval battle, guys. This could be what starts the war. This could be, you know, maybe the U.S. and Russia open fire with their warships somewhere in the Caribbean, and boom, World War III. You know? But this thing right here, the USS Truxtun, is right off the coast of Florida now. Okay, you see it? U.S. Gov vessel right off of West Palm Beach. This is a satellite map, okay? It's satellite positioning, so last report June 11th, 0510 East UTC time. Okay, you can see, wow. So this thing is moving south. We're going to keep an eye on it. And it's right in front of this Coast Guard vessel. Coast Guard vessel is right in front of it. But this is very serious stuff, guys. Wow. So we have an Arleigh Burke class destroyer off the coast of Florida now. Wow. That's pretty serious, guys. Yeah, the Georgia Guidestones are crazy. Georgia Guidestones, yep. They got destroyed, unfortunately. Is it troublesome? Let me see. Someone asked, is it troublesome if it's quiet and there's no EAMs? Yeah, it's pretty strange. Yeah, apparently the eastern U.S., the airspace is shut down off the coast of in the Atlantic. Out in the Atlantic, the airspace has been closed through next year. No problem, Grandma Preps. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it sucks our vets are not treated as well as they should be. I totally agree. It's very unfortunate. Andrew Pickett, thanks for the donation. I asked earlier, but have you heard of new fears of the Cascadia Zone quake? I'm outside of Portland. Wonder how bad the Columbia River will be hit from the tsunami. Well, that's always a fear. I mean, the Pacific Northwest is very active. So that's always a concern anywhere in the Pacific Northwest. You always have to be on alert for that. So that's always a concern. Um, but thank you so much for that donation. I'll look more into it. But that's always a concern. You know, the Pacific Northwest is at any time, you know, Mount Rainier could blow off, Mount Hood. There's so many of them that are just on the verge of blowing. So looks like tomorrow and Wednesday there's going to be a space launch off of Cape Canaveral. There's going to be a space launch. They're launching some rockets. So just checking for other breaking news, and we're tracking this Arleigh Burke class destroyer. It's currently traveling at 10.3 knots, heading due south. And there's also a Coast Guard ship right behind it. So we have a U.S. Arleigh Burke class destroyer. This is a guided missile destroyer that is off the coast of Florida right now, escorting this Russian sub. No problem, Melanie Brooks. No problem. Andrew Pickett, thank you for another donation. Here's one I haven't thought to ask. Do you think nukes could trigger earthquakes that are overdue, like Cascadia or San Andreas? It's hard to say, but most likely not. Not with the weapons we have. You would need something like a Tsar bomb to do that. And as far as I know, the most powerful warheads that either the U.S. or Russia has is like 1 megaton, 1 or 1.5 megaton, which is just not enough to do that. You'd need something like a Tsar bomb or a status 6 Poseidon, but earthquakes don't get triggered. That's the thing, It's like that's a lot of false myths that are made up by the people that are like the fanboys of Vladimir Putin, the fanboys that are, obsessed with the status 6 Poseidon and all that. You can't really trigger an earthquake because an earthquake is caused by shifting of the earth. So by dropping a nuke on a fault line, it's not going to trigger an earthquake, because you need those tectonic shifts to occur in order for there to be an earthquake. The entire plates have to move. It's like two plates. You remember the different plates? And when you have an earthquake, the two plates rub against each other. Okay? So by dropping a nuke on a fault line, it's not going to cause the plates to move. Okay? So it's not going to trigger an earthquake. That's a myth that's propagated by the lovers of Vladimir Putin, who think that the status 6 Poseidon is some kind of wonder weapon that's going to destroy America, and they're going to send a 1,000-foot radioactive tsunami and all that crap. It's just a bunch of fake news, basically. It just doesn't work that way. You need to have the two plates moving, or you need some uplifting from magma pressure underneath the crust. You need to either have magma pressure build up, or you need to have two plates moving. And by dropping a nuke, it's just not gonna cause that. It's like trying to think of a good example. It would be like the same thing as saying, oh, you have a cloud in the sky. You have a cloud in the sky. If I took a giant water balloon and I threw the water balloon at the cloud, and it suddenly would cause the cloud to start turning into a thunderstorm. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't happen that way. Just checking for some information here, guys. Stand by. Yeah, it looks like we have 2 U.S. warships and a Coast Guard ship that are looking for this Russian sub. We have a Arleigh Burke class destroyer right now off the coast of Florida. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back in a couple minutes. All right, guys, I'm back. Just had to step away for a minute. Um, so I'm going to continue to monitor this situation. This is very serious with this sub here. Let's just see if this vessel moved at all. I'm going to refresh the page. Yeah, it looks like it's moving south. Looks like it's heading towards Cuba. You can see it's heading south now. Yeah, everything came out fine. Yeah, so this vessel is moving due south. Yeah, I can turn the static down. Yeah. I just have to keep the squelch a little bit less. Otherwise, sometimes I'll miss an EAM that's a little more faint. So that's why I keep the squelch a little. Oh, we have a Cuban spy station.
On many different religious and spiritual topics, with more being added all the time.
Oh wait, never mind. That's weird. Oops. I thought I found the Cuban spy station. I guess not. Amy says it seems like that Russian sub wanted to know if our Navy was serious. Well, you can see that you can see that this vessel is moving further south. It's near Boca Raton now. It's only moving at 10 knots, so very slow. But we have a Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer trailing this thing. What's going on, Aspen English? How's it going? Sharon says someone said earlier that their wife's nephew has called to be deployed tonight. Oh wow, where are they deploying to? Interesting. see, refresh this page and see where this ship is now. Yeah, there's still, both of them are moving south. Coast Guard Stone and U.S. government vessel 103, which is a Arleigh Burke class destroyer. Arleigh Burke class destroyer. So let me just check and see what you guys are saying here in the chat. They're going to run into the Bermuda Triangle. That's funny. Yeah, that's true. That's where the Bermuda Triangle is. Thank you, Rodney Middleton, for sharing my Virtual Shield VPN link. Really appreciate it. Yeah, guys, if you're looking for a VPN, check out Virtual Shield. I have a special deal with them. You guys can get 70% off. So use that link in the chat. Also, it's in the description. If you want to get 70% off of a VPN service. I think VPNs are mandatory these days, especially if you travel a lot. It's good to have that VPN protection when you travel. So check out Virtual Shield VPN. Sharon says Biden has one foot in the grave, so I don't think he really cares what happens to the U.S. when his family will be safe somewhere. What's going on, Tam and Rod 2017? Concrete Jungle City says, how is it that the stock market is not falling from the news? Yeah, because the stock market is pumped up. It's pumped up with fake money. That's why they pump it up. They have the plunge protection team. They have the plunge protection team, which is a bunch of big banks and financial institutions that dump money into the stock market. So it keeps it high, artificially high. So that's how. Just checking to see if there's any updates here. So Taiwan has started putting mines in the southern part of Taiwan. They started putting mines.
Yeah.
So that is very serious, guys. Last week they put mines in the northern part of Taiwan, and now they're putting sea mines. They're putting sea mines on the southern part of Taiwan, and they've already put them on the northern part. So Taiwan started mining their southern coastline, And this comes after they've already mined their northern coastline. So that's definitely very serious. Looks like France is on the verge of a civil war. We have right-wing groups clashing with left-wing groups after the parliamentary elections. Yeah, so these two vessels here, Coast Guard vessel and the Arleigh Burke class destroyer, are heading south. Wow. They're heading down to Cuba. So, yeah, I saw the picture of the Slovakian president. There's no scars or bandages on his face. Seems suspicious to me. Yeah, I saw that too. I was going to say the same thing when I shared that picture of him. I think it's very suspicious that, he looked like he was just so healthy, considering that he was just shot 5 times, and he was, then suddenly, walking around. It doesn't make any sense. I totally agree. I feel the same way. It's just very strange. Peace and Love says, this is a wonderful channel. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Glad you like it. Mount Livin Arky says 4 a.m. comes fast. Greg, God bless you and all the work you and your mods do. Reliable day and night. Y'all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and God bless. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hopkinson is asking about nuclear war and rapture. I'm not sure. Not sure. Well, the Bible doesn't specifically mention nuclear war by name, but I mean, you can kind of just use common sense to determine that that's what the Bible's talking about. In a lot of scriptures where it talks about, you know, lots of people dying off and the 4 horsemen. Good night, Abraham Ramirez. Yeah, correct. Robert Fico is the Slovakian Prime Minister. That's right. That's right. He is. Vicky Henderson says, I noticed the change in Fetterman. He was even acting like he had some common sense about several issues lately. Yeah, you got to remember Fetterman is a Pennsylvania Democrat. So Pennsylvania Democrats, they're a lot different than, East Coast or, West Coast Democrats. They're kind of similar to like Southern Democrats. They're not like super hardcore. You know, he knows that he's got to kind of play the middle a little bit more. Yugoslavia was beautiful and dirt cheap. Yeah, Yugoslavia, I'm sure. But it was communist. Nowadays, you could still visit those countries from, those days. It's not like they're not there anymore or something. I mean, you can still visit them. We have riots spreading across Paris. There's riots now spreading across Paris. Slovenian president had a stroke and he's walking around like nothing happened. Don't believe it. Yeah, it's very weird how they just recovered so fast. It's very strange. I don't know what to make of that. The reason for the riots in Paris is because of the elections, the European elections. So in France, the liberals lost. Macron, the leader of France, his party lost tremendously in the European Parliament elections, and because of that, there's liberals running around causing chaos, and then you have the right wingers that are fighting with them and stuff. So it's it's crazy. As Fetterman has recovered from his stroke and started making his own decisions, he has moderated his opinions. Yeah, he's a lot more moderate. I mean, like I said, he's a Pennsylvania Democrat, so especially he's like a Western Pennsylvania Democrat, so um, he's kind of more on the moderate side of things. You know, it's like a Southern Democrat. Are there any cameras in Paris? Yeah, I could look for cameras in Paris, but it would be hard for me to find the specific area where the riots are happening, and then it would be like a wild goose chase trying to figure out a good camera and stuff. I don't know if they're still ongoing or if they concluded already, but there were riots, I know for sure. Some pretty bad riots. We have another U.S. government vessel here, another Arleigh Burke-class destroyer off the coast of Virginia. Wow. Look, it took off from whatchamacallit, took off from Norfolk Naval Base. Let's see what's going on with these over here. It's still near, it's moving further south. So this U.S. government vessel 103, it just appeared over here, which is interesting. It must have had its tracker turned off. It just like appeared right off the coast of West Palm Beach. So pretty strange. So it's going to be a crazy summer, guys. It's going to be an interesting summer with the Russians now in our backyard. So this is pretty interesting, guys. It's pretty interesting. So I think I'm gonna shut down the stream. It's getting pretty late here. I need to get some rest. I don't know if I should shut it down or leave it up overnight. I don't know if I leave it up if you guys are gonna hang out if I'm not around. What's going on, Kinkoi? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. The Arleigh Burke-class destroyers can shoot rockets down, can't they? Yes. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers can intercept. Depends on how they're set up. They can either... Depends on what missiles they have. If they have the interceptor missiles, then they can intercept missiles. If they have Tomahawk missiles, they can launch Tomahawk missiles as well. So they can be either offensive or defensive. That's a good point, though. I think that these two... So we know that we have at least one Arleigh Burke-class destroyer off the coast of Fort Lauderdale. And then we have a Coast Guard vessel right behind it. And then we have another Arleigh Burke-class further north by Virginia that's heading down this way. So it's possible that they're going to be intercepting Russian missiles if they try to launch them at the U.S. No problem, Melanie Brooks. Dr. C-Max says get some much-needed rest. Hopkinson, good to see you. Thank you, Amy Sturdivant, for moderating. Rodney Middleton, thanks for moderating, and I will let you know next time I go live. Mayhem says go ahead and shut it down, get some rest. Emily says I work as a security guard. Cat Sui, good to see you. Have a nice night, Cat Sui. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to shut it down. It's getting late. I know a lot of people are going to go to sleep anyway. So I think I'm just going to shut it down, but I might be back tomorrow night for another one. And I will put out an update in the morning with some of the latest breaking news. Thank you, Aspen English. You're the best. Papa G says Florida can sleep a little easier tonight. Exactly. Yes, so yeah, we have potentially a missile interceptor ship near this Russian sub. So, Prep Mom 5 PA says, go to bed. The world is crazy. You may need to go live at any moment. See you later, Fred NYC. Good night, Kinkoi. Good night, Greg Krudzma. Aldo Schmedak, it was good to see you in here tonight. Good night, everybody. So, yeah, I'm going to wind it down, and I will be back tomorrow with another stream, most likely. So have a good night, guys, and until tomorrow, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. Culinary out.